Okay, students, today we're going to be doing the guided practice more formatting. You'll see this assignment posted in Canvas. When you get to the Canvas page, you're going to download the file, which is shown right here. Click it and download it. And we're going to open it up. This is what your sheet will look like. Alright, if it says enable editing, we're going to go ahead and enable it to edit. And we're set and ready to go. Okay? The first step it wants us to do is it wants us to set a header with your name, date, and the file name of the activity. Okay, so remember there are two ways in which we can go to the header. We're going to use the page view option, which you click in the bottom to page layout, which is your second option. Okay, and then we're going to look for our header. Alright, so in the first box, let's put our name. And remember your name, not my name. Today's date is the 15th. And today's activity is called more formatting. Okay, remember once you are finished, you need to first make sure that's set and then go back to normal view. Okay? So that is the first thing that we have done. The next thing it wants us to format the title ABC Hourly Payroll in bold 16-point font and center the title across all columns. You may need to adjust the row height. Okay, so we're centering it. And we do that by merge and centering because it's across all columns. Okay, we're going to bold it. Now it's already bold, and we're going to switch it to size 16. Okay, and we may need to adjust the row height, and I believe it should already be set, but in case you do need to do that, you just click in between just like we adjust the column width, and you can adjust as needed. Okay. The next step is to format the headings in row 3 for wrap text, center, initial caps, and bold font, and readjust the column width and adjust row height as needed. Okay, so we already have it bold when we download it. We also have it centered. It looks like it's also in initial caps and bold font, and it looks like the width is already set. So we are pretty much set with that. Okay, the next step it wants us to do is delete row 7. Okay, for whatever reason it wants us to delete row 7. So we'll go ahead and there it is. Okay, we'll go ahead and click on row 7, entire row. Alright, and now we can delete that right here by just clicking delete. And there we go. Alright, and now it wants us to format labels. Format the data column A is label. Okay, that's text. So remember that sometimes when numbers are entered for identification purposes and not for calculations, such as the employee's social security numbers, in column A this data is used to identify each employee and will not be used to calculate pay. Now some of them might be done when you download the file. It's simple. If there's a green corner that you guys see on it, it means it's already been identified as a label. But in order to make some that are not identified as labels, we need to add the apostrophe. So we go up here, we click it, add the apostrophe, and you'll see you have a green corner that pops up. And same here on the bottom. We're going to go ahead and add the apostrophe again as well, and that lets the computer know that that will not be used in calculations for what we're doing. Okay, the next thing it wants us to do is format the data in column C as currency. Okay, so we're going to select the data that's in column C. Remember, this is a label and this is our values. Okay, so just to format as currency, you just click the $, And here are our options. We're going to do English United States. And there we go. And then it wants us to format a double line border around row 3. And there we go. The next step it wants us to do is it wants us to rename the spreadsheet tab payroll. So again, we just click where it says sheet 1, highlight it, and we're going to type payroll. And then it wants us to move the payroll sheet behind sheet 2. Okay, so all you got to do is you just, there you go, you drag it. Oh wait, hold on. And you see now sheet 2 is the first one and payroll is the second one. Alright, and now it wants us to key the data below in column D, hours worked, and format the data as a number with 1 decimal. Okay, and there we go. We have all of our numbers in. I'm going to just go ahead and give our 1 decimal point. And it looks like we'll just go ahead and center that to make it look like all the other numbers right now. Okay, it wants us to now insert a new column after column F and key regular pay as the column heading. Okay, so that would go in column G, and we're going to type in regular pay. And again, we just need to adjust the column width as needed. Okay. The next thing it wants us to do is enter a formula in cell G4 to calculate regular pay, regular hours times hourly rate, and copy the formula to the remaining cells in the column. Okay, so our regular pay, as you know, we start off our formula with the equal sign. We're going to multiply our regular hours, which would be cell E, or column E, and that's row 4. We're going to multiply times the amount, which would be C4. And there we go. Now we can copy the formula to the remaining cells, and we do that by using the autofill option. And there you guys go. We are complete with that step. Okay. The next step it wants us to do is to insert a new column after column G and key overtime pay as the heading. Okay. We're going to enter a formula in cell H4 to calculate. Alright, so first we're going to go ahead and type in overtime pay right here. Okay, and then we need to calculate a formula that will determine the overtime pay. You'll enter a formula in cell H4 to multiply the result of the regular rate multiplied by 1.5. A hint would be the hourly rate times 1.5 times the hourly are the overtime hours. Okay, so we're going to use our first time parentheses. So our hourly rate would be cell C4. And then we're going to multiply that times 1.5, close parentheses. And we're going to multiply that by the number of overtime hours, which would be, in this case, column F. Alright, and then we're just going to go ahead and copy and drag the formula. Alright, and it is saying to format that data as currency. So we'll just go ahead and format that as currency as well. And then it's going to ask us to insert a new column after column H and key gross pay. Okay. And an I4 wants us to enter a formula to calculate gross pay by adding regular and overtime pay and copy the formula to the remaining cells in the column and format the data as currency. Okay, so very simply, we're just going to add G4. Oh, didn't put my equal sign. G4 plus H4 and there we go, we have our total. And we're just going to go ahead and add that all up, or copy the formula down. Alright. Now we're just going to go ahead and adjust the column width as necessary, just to make sure that we are we have our nice size there. And now we're going to just make sure we can reset the title across all columns.
Ms. Sanders, you have a student at the front door. Ms. Sanders, thank you.
And it's going to, there we go, we set that back up. And then in cell, oh, we also need to add the borders over. So again, we'll just select all the columns, add the double border again. And then also, this isn't mentioned, but just so if you were to print this, we can switch the page layout to landscape. And even though it's still cut off, the main thing is just being able to do the skill here. Okay. So we did that. The last thing it's asking us is in cell I16, I15 in this case. We're going to use a function to formula all of the gross pay. So again, you just select all of the items. Alright, we're going to go back to home. And there's our auto sum. And there we go. Alright, we're going to save that, and then our next step would be to submit it. You'll have your submit assignment up there and submit it. Okay, but do not close the file, because you're going to be using that same sheet that we are using for step 2.